Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Kornfeld, editor and publisher of AcousticMusicScene.com, board member of Folk Alliance International and Northeast Regional Folk Alliance, and longtime president of the Folk Music Society of Huntington, an all-volunteer, nonprofit presenting organization based in Huntington, Long Island, New York, which is where I grew up and reside, and also where Harry Chapin lived with his family. In keeping with Harry's motto, when in doubt, do something, which is also the title of a recent documentary about the late singer-songwriter, social activist, and humanitarian, who would have turned 80 on December 7th. The Harry Chapin Foundation thought this would be a nice opportunity to chat with some folks who are putting those words into action. And now we're going to turn to some folks who have been actively involved in really doing things that matter for their communities and for others. Our next guest is Chad Barker. Before we learn about the wonderful work that you are doing, Chad, with the Giving Trees, I understand that you have some connections to Harry and the Chapin family. Can you tell us about those and how Harry helped to inspire you to want to make a difference in people's lives?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Yeah, I met Harry when I was 7 or 8 years old. I grew up in Southern California, and uh, my parents played Greatest Stories Live over and over again, and so I loved that album. "Flowers Are Red" was my favorite song, and when Harry played at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, we went up and saw him perform, and he'd sign his autographs afterward for anyone who would. Well, he would sign them for anyone, but he gave his best signatures for people that purchased his merch, so that more money was going to his causes. And we waited in line, and when I got up there, he looked at me. He said, "You look like my mailman." And of course, being 7 years old, being impressionable, that really stuck. And I ended up writing to him, and next time he was in Los Angeles, we went and saw him again, and we kind of wormed our way backstage. And from that point forward, anytime Harry was on the West Coast, I would go and see him perform, and it was always such a special time for us. And then when Harry was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, and had the amazing gathering at Carnegie Hall, I was able to join for that and reconnect with the Chapin family. So warms my heart that we still stay connected to this day.
He's a brother.
Great. Well, Chad, can you tell us a little bit about the Giving Trees and what your impetus was for starting it?
Yeah, so the Giving Trees is a family tradition that my wife and I and our two teenagers started back in 2020. Essentially, what we do is we give away a Christmas tree and lights and stands and ornaments and some other decorations to families that need a little bit of a boost during the holiday season. We don't, doesn't matter what somebody's background is. We have whether they're tree recipients or donors or volunteers. It's really an opportunity to bring everyone together to spread some extra joy. And that first year set out to donate 5 to 10 trees, and I thought it'd just be fun, right? It was November of 2020, so pandemic was doing its thing, and I just put it out on social media and said, "Hey, is anybody interested in kicking in a few bucks? We'd like to go out and donate 5 to 10 trees." And the reception was overwhelming. And so it's like, all right, well, we got more donations. We can give away more trees, and did more shopping for ornaments and lights. And I raided every Dollar Tree in the Pacific Northwest to get stuff for the gift bags. And by the end of that first season in 2020, we had given away 117 trees. We had delivered them to individuals around Greater Portland area. And then last year, we decided, well, let's do it again. And when it was all said and done, we had delivered 721 trees, again, with the lights and stand and ornaments, because we really wanted to provide something to somebody that they wouldn't need anything else. They wouldn't say, okay, well, we got a tree, but now we got to get a stand, or we got to get lights or ornaments or whatever. Really wanted to give them a gift that would stand on its own, quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up delivering 721 trees last year, started expanding and delivering to other states, which kind of came about organically. This year, we just kicked off delivering trees, started yesterday. And in fact, right before this, I was rushing home because my daughter and I went and delivered a tree, which was, it's always so fun going out and doing. And but we're going to deliver over 1,500 trees. We're hitting as many states as we can. We're also going to deliver some trees in other countries. So we'll deliver a couple trees in Paraguay and Nigeria and Pakistan and Australia and England and Bosnia, Norway. It's wild. It's a lot of fun. And this was just one of those things that I had this idea. I was sitting there in November of 2020 having a root beer float with one of my best friends here in Portland. And that was the first time I had said out loud, I want to do this. It's been a rough year. But I'm going to set the bar low. Let's do like 5 trees. And so this wasn't this idea for doing something massive. This was, let's just do something nice for somebody. And it really started to gain momentum. If you'd told me right then, if my buddy Gabe had said, hey, Chad, this is going to 2 years from now, you're going to be delivering all over the world. I said, I probably wouldn't have started with those first 5 trees. You know how that sort of thing goes. But I love it. I really do. It's a blast. We've turned it into a 501c3 nonprofit. It's all volunteer. I have my day job, but they're really supportive of what I do. So I'm grateful to work for a company that supports that. And we have a blast. It's a lot. This weekend we delivered 400 trees between yesterday and today. We have a massive team. We call our delivery volunteers our reindeer. So we had a lot of people cruising by our house today, loading up with trees and stands, and we have 1,000 trees parked in our backyard right now. So,
let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
They say a picture, tells 1,000 words. Video's even better, and I think we have a video that shows some things that you did that are also pretty impressive. That was taken earlier this month. If we can play that video.
500 trees looks like. Hello, we're out at Leaf Farms. By we, I mean I'm out at Leaf Farms. I've got a stacked 500 trees that one of our tree farm partners dropped off here at Leaf Farms, which is our primary tree farm and great partner for the last 3 years. We couldn't have done it without them. And we love Leaf Farms. Can't say enough great things about them. Definitely come here for all your pumpkins and Christmas trees and other great stuff throughout the year. So my task this morning in the relatively cold wind, but I'll get some body heat going soon, is to stack these trees up over there by that fence. That's our co-pilot. Wonder if we could get John Deere to sponsor us. Maybe they want to help underwrite some trees for families that can't get them otherwise. Leaf Farms is really amazing. It's in Tualatin, Oregon, about half hour south of Portland. I've got my Red Bull, gives you wings. Hopefully it'll give me wings. Hopefully I can open it with my gloves on. I'm not sure about that. Nope, not gonna happen. Red Bull's also not a sponsor. Maybe Red Bull would be a sponsor, because that's certainly been a big part of how I've moved through this project. Gives me a little extra fuel. I don't drink coffee anymore. I'm not saying Red Bull's great for you. I'm hoping it's gonna give me wings. Last couple of years, I've worried about getting over my skis on this project. This year, I thought to myself, forget the skis. I'm just gonna like take off, right? Just drop the skis, like kind of going off the ski ramp. Skis off, hoping I'll fly. I need the wings, need the funding. The funding is the wind beneath my wings. Not really, but it helps. I really shouldn't delay this much longer because I do have a day job that I should get to, but I gotta stack these trees. 500 trees, let's see what it looks like in the end. All right, let's stack some trees. With the knees, they say. Bend with the knees. I didn't do that. Sorry, Taylor. See you soon. Forgot my gloves. You know what they say? No gloves, no loves.
Yeah, I will.
Let's finish this up.
Wow, Chad, that's incredible. How long did it take you to stack all those trees, and how's your back holding up?
Yeah, well, I said I referenced my good friend Taylor, who started out as my chiropractor, and he's still my chiropractor, but became my best friend because my back has needed a lot of help over the years. If I'd done it straight, it would have taken me 90 minutes, but I was clearly, messing around plenty. It took a couple of hours.
Okay. Well, how can people help if they'd like to with your project?
Donations are
Where
always
can they go to
helpful.
learn more about where can they go to learn more about the Giving Tree?
Yeah, so our website is gtrees.org, gtrees.org. We love getting people involved that want to help deliver. So people here in Portland, it's easy. They drive by our house, they pick up trees, they get the gift bags and the stands, and they go out and they deliver to a route that we plan for them. But the way we deliver in other parts of the country and other parts of the world are if somebody wants to make a delivery in their local area, we can match them up with families that are in need. A lot of times people will help us identify those families and we cover the cost. They need to go do the shopping because it's hard for us to do the shopping in remote areas. It's a lot of fun. We partner with social services organizations and schools to identify families. Jen talked about partnerships being key, and that's very much the case for us as well. We want to be an ingredient in people's holidays, right? A Christmas tree is not a must-have, right? If somebody's trying to decide, are they going to be able to put food on their table? They should be spending it on food, not a Christmas tree. And yet we see a Christmas tree as an opportunity to bring some joy into their home and provide something that is somewhat of a luxury. And so for us, we want to also be an ingredient with schools, especially the social workers and other nonprofits that are looking for ways that they can serve their stakeholders, their clients, families that they connect with. So we love to do that because they're like, oh, great, we're doing food baskets. Can we also provide trees? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Right. And
okay.
So we love doing those types of partnerships. So if somebody wants to help deliver a tree, reach out. We'd love to bring you into the fold.
Great. Well, thanks for being with us, Chad, and thanks for what you're doing to help brighten people's lives during this season. And now, I mentioned earlier the movie, the documentary about Harry, When in Doubt, Do Something. We'd like to thank the producers of the movie and share a clip from it for you right now.
But I'm just a high school student, and I really don't see what I can do by myself to help this.
Ironically enough, I'm I guess a third level rock star. I mean, you know, way under the Beatles or the Eagles or whatever. But because I have been committed to this issue, and because I've not just raised money through benefits, but been there in Washington day in, day out at times when there's key things coming up, and an awful lot of senators and congressmen don't know who Harry Chapin is. Because I've been there, we were able to write up a resolution, lobby it through Congress, calling for a complete reevaluation of American food and hunger policy. I could give you example after example after example of individuals with no power at all, but because they were committed, had a dramatic impact on their world. Ironically enough, they're probably the two most important human beings that ever lived. Had no giant political arms, no armies, no gigantic economic power. There was a fisherman from Galilee, and there was a crazy man who went from the slums of London back and forth to Germany. Jesus Christ and Karl Marx. You don't have to believe in either system to realize that these people were tremendously potent because of the power of their ideas and the power of their commitment. I could tell you that I get asked a lot of times how I can change the world, and I've also been asked a lot of times how I can be a rock and roll singer. And do you see what's on the end of my fingers? Calluses. And what that means is if you're willing to play the guitar night in, night out for audiences of 3 people when you're coming up and finding that even your mother says it doesn't sound very good, the point is very simple. If you care enough, you can have an impact, finally. If you care enough, you can have an impact on your world. And I think the thing that makes all of us want to be alive is to matter. And the way you matter is care enough about something so you keep doing it. So all I would say is that if you're serious about becoming a rock and roll star or doing something about hunger, all you have to do is get in the process of dealing with it. Within an hour of discussion or a couple of weeks of reading some books, you would know 50 to 100 things that could be effective that you could do. The question is whether you're serious enough, care enough to have an impact, and as a matter of fact, whether you care enough about your own life, whether you care enough about your own life to make it matter. I would hate to be 75 years old, and it's one of the things that arms me, and say, if only I had, I wish I had, I wonder what my life meant. My credo, which might be interesting for you to think about, is when in doubt, do something. Because in the long run, we're not sure about a prior life or an afterlife. We're all hoping for that. But what we can do is maximize what we have in this brief flicker of time in the infinity and try to milk that and be hungry in a different kind of way, hungry for experience, hungry for meaning. And I think you as a high school student could start. I wish I could give you a glib answer. What we're talking about is finding a process for your life that matters, and you can be terribly, terribly effective if you want to be.